Today's show is all about developing your signature style. I mean, there's fashion and there's style. So, which one do you have? If you're not sure, stay tuned and learn how to develop your own style with our special guest. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures. To imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Well, hello, and welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. I'm your host, Alicia Curry, and listen, this is one of those topics that I just get so excited because my degree is in fashion, so I love this. So fashion, beauty, I think there's such an intrinsic part of us, especially as women, that help build our confidence when we get this right, or when we get it right for us. I'm not saying perfect, I'm saying when we get it right for us. So now I am just so excited because I want to introduce my guest to you. So Tania you know what? Sterl? I think I said her name right. Tania Sterl.
Sterl on style.
Sterl on style. Yeah.
You got it, Alicia.
I got it. There we go. She went from fashion designer to personal fashion curator. And she's here with us today to share some tips, some do's, some don'ts. So thank you so much, Tania, for coming on board. Yes.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Oh, so right off the bat, I want to ask you, because you've been in the world for over, I don't know, you were a fashion designer for 19 years, was it? And then you started your business doing styling, curating looks for people, helping them develop their positive body image. And I want to ask you, is there a difference between fashion and style?
Yeah, for me, coming from the fashion industry, working full-time as a fashion designer, and then pivoting to personal stylist, I believe that the term fashion refers to the fashion industry at large. We have fashion history. Fashion is that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fashion is the designers, the fashion industry, fashion history. To me, that's like the all-encompassing, fashion. And I mean, fashion is everything from streetwear to
Tour.
design costumes for Broadway to high-end, cerebral runway shows to, the woman in her living room hand stitching or sewing or, growing, herding sheep for cashmere. Like fashion is the industry, like fashion is that big entity.
Yeah.
Style is how we take fashion and make it our own.
There you go. I love it.
Style is right. Style is that way to express ourselves, to embody confidence, by showcasing ourselves and creating a beautiful style in and of ourselves.
I love that. I wrote a book years ago called Your Signature Style, which is all about that. Like, how do you find that thing about you that's unique that you can now dress the outside of? But it starts with understanding what is unique about me. Because I came from the fashion industry too. I studied fashion. I was in it for probably a microsecond compared to you, but at the same time, I loved fashion and always wanted to be in that industry. But then you're absolutely right. When it came to finding my own style, how can I take that kind of that entity out there and then build it so that I feel confident wearing it. So it's not about just being trendy, or because some people just follow trends and they think that, they're stylish. You could probably think so, but it's how they wear it. Like I have a friend who thrifts and everything she wears is thrifted, but the way she pulls it together, I mean, this woman has style, right? And then someone else could thrift and it looks like, not stylish. I don't want to disparage anybody, but they just don't have that knack to pull it together. And that's what you're so brilliant at when you say you curate those looks for people. So let's talk a little bit about um, what has to come from the inside, because this is the work that you do. So what really has to come from the inside for you to develop that style?
Yeah. And I think to answer that question, I go back to my own experience with, when I was a teenager growing up in the Midwest, my little, suburb of Chicago, and flipping through fashion magazines and loving the supermodels of the 90s, right? Linda Evangelista and Kristen
Yes.
Sherrington and Naomi Campbell. Like, I would just
Right.
live in
Those
my
were the icons. We grew up in the same, yep,
Yes, love that we're from that same era.
same
So
era.
so for me, like growing up, I would make my own clothes, I would dye and cut my own hair, and I would go to school, and I'd get bullied for it because I would dye my hair like pink or purple. I remember making like my first pair of like pleather pants, and I wore them in the 8th grade, and everyone was like, and I splatter painted like a top. So for me, fashion was always this way to express myself.
Hmm.
And I didn't cave under the pressure of the bullies or, oh, why are you so different? Me and my friends would have like a nail painting contest at the lunchroom, and like the lunchroom attendant would, like, I always found fashion a way to play and experiment and dabble as a teenager, as a child, even if I was kind of being like bullied for it. But I was like, why do you want to look like everyone else? But I had a hard time. I, thank God, found my friends who were as like kooky,
Eclectic and
crazy
kooky
as
as
I
you.
was. But there was a time in like high school where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm such an odd bird. I have short hair, I have this pointy nose, like all the girls are getting curvy, and like I'm just this kind of tomboy stick, figure. It's like, when am I going to become a woman? And then the once I did my literature teacher had us, it was in the 8th grade, had us write an article. And I wrote an article about Linda Evangelista, about her short hair and her unique nose, but this is what's making her, well known. So for me, it was finding and accepting my version of beautiful, finding and accepting my version of just, you can be, any color of the rainbow, you can be any shape and size. And it's like, it starts with you. But again, outside messages from magazines and Hollywood and all the things put such pressure on women. So I think it has to start from the inside, accepting how you are, working with what you got, and
Yep.
really accepting your version of beautiful.
I love that. That is so, so true. And I can resonate with a lot of what you were saying. My mom had a sewing machine and she used to sew curtains and stuff, and I would just find fabric and stitch things together out of my imagination and then wear it. It's like I was I was making stuff up on the fly. And because I didn't, as a teenager, I didn't know about pattern cutting, and I didn't have the patience to follow patterns anyway. I would just I'd look and drape something this way and say, okay, if I stitch it this way, it'll stay draped like this. And then I was just making it up. So I get it. I get it. And I also wanted to fit in though. I wanted to fit in like everybody else. So while I would do that, I would recoil. And it wasn't until late in my life, in my 40s, that I really started to embrace all my uniqueness and all the different things that made me me. And and that's why I think it's a powerful message for young girls to realize that, you know what, we're all of us are unique and different. Don't let anybody bully you or pick on you because you're unique and different. And that uniqueness that's in you is actually a strength and can propel you into, a world unknown. If you look at it as a strength instead of just trying to bury it and fit in. And so when we're talking about accepting ourselves for who we are, shape, size, whatever because we all come in different shapes and sizes. Nobody's perfect. There's no perfection in a body type. So how do we find balance in our bodies so that when we look at clothes, we can know, all right, this is going to fit my body well, without going into any details of body type, but how do we find that balance?
Yeah, and it is, I will admit, after, being a fashion designer for 18 years, 19 years, and then being a fashion stylist, I will tell you, Alicia, and everyone listening in, it starts with just accepting where you're at, right? We as women, our bodies go through so many changes in life. I am not the same size I was when I was 22, and now I'm 52. I'm not the same size.
Correct.
And we women, our bodies go through such changes before and after having a baby. If we've had a foot injury, I've had clients that are like, oh my gosh, I've had foot surgery, and they're sedentary, and then they've gained weight, and all of a sudden they're dressing, a new size body. Or
menopause.
I was just gonna say, right? Women entering menopause, all of a sudden it's like, Tania, I'm gonna wait to book a style session with you or a shop appointment because I just want this 5 pounds around my belly to go away. And then it's like a year later and they're like, why did our mothers or grandmothers or aunts not tell us what's gonna happen to our bodies in menopause, right? Like this softness in areas we've never had before, the
Oh
tummy,
my goodness.
the bottom, the thighs. So I think it's hard when things change. Like when I first had to start to wear like readers and progressives.
Listen, I can't even do
I
it
was
on my
like,
now.
do not put glasses on my face. Like I don't want, but then I had to embrace it and be like, you know what? You can find like stylish readers, right? So I think when it comes to we and our women and our bodies, and again, it's tough because more so, I have found more so in this country, honestly, than in other countries around the world, there is so much pressure on some sort of perfect body image from Hollywood, from, news.
Still the magazine industry, the models, it's still driving this one particular look.
I would say it's thank goodness there's, voices being raised up to say, more body positive than ever. But I think it starts with we women just going, okay, what is the shape my body is in now? How can I accept it, work with it, embrace it, be gentle on it? But also, like, I like to compare our bodies to like vases, right? There's a vase and a vessel for different flower arrangements. And when you're pulling that vase off the shelf, are you looking at that vase going, it's too tall, or it's too short, or it's too round, or it's too thin? No, you're just like, ooh, look at this beautiful vase, and I'm going to put flowers in it. So for each and every one of you listening, consider your body your vessel, that beautiful vase that you get to decorate from head to toe.
Right.
So for me, whether I'm, styling a client for her TEDx talk, styling a client for her photo shoot, styling a client for her book launches, TEDx talk, or just styling a woman so she gets through her work days every day, that new job, so that she can create that confidence. It's just about creating balance from head to toe, a beautiful neckline, the right sleeve length, a dress that grazes the knee or ends just at the most beautiful length, no matter what height or size or shape you are. So it is one of my favorite things to do when I have that client in that personal shopping suite. It's kind of our private time together. I kind of feel like a style doctor a little bit, right?
Yeah. Because then you can ask them, what is your best feature? What do you think your best feature is?
Yes.
Someone says, oh, my legs are my best feature. Then, man, let's do something with a slit. Let's do something to really help highlight those legs, So it's about playing up your best features, learning about balance, how to use color blocking or different types of color. And I don't want to get people confused, but when you look at a dress, and I always tell people this, when you look at something hanging on a rack, if it catches your eye in any way, try it on. You might look at that on the hanger and think, oh no, that would never fit. Oh, that would not look good on me. But if you don't actually put it on, you're not going to know for sure if it fits or if it works or doesn't work for your body. So some things I look at on a rack and I'm like, I don't think it'll look good on me. And then I put it on, it's like, oh my goodness,
Yeah,
that looks
it's
great.
true.
So you
Yeah.
have to put things on sometime, most
And I
times to put
and
it
I
on.
think to your point, Alicia, I think, another reason we're having the discussion is like if women don't know, like don't feel badly if you don't know how to dress your figure or your body type, or if your body has changed, like don't be down on yourself. Like not everyone was born to shop, not everyone was born to like figure this out. So that's why we have personal stylists.
Yes,
Why
that's
we
what.
have image consultants. Like you get a toothache, you go to the dentist. You get a flat tire, you go to the mechanic. You need assistance feeling good, or that support feeling good in your clothes and your body, and knowing that you're dressing, your figure today. You work with a stylist. That's what we're here for. It's one of my favorite things to do in the fitting room when I'm one-on-one with that client and they're so nervous.
Yeah.
They're like so nervous. And then all of a sudden they're like, they put a dress on and they're like,
Oh
wait,
my
I
God. I
didn't
would
know
have
I could
never
look
picked that.
good.
I
Like,
feel like I would never pick that in a million years. And then you put it
yeah.
on them, it's like, oh my gosh, I look amazing in this.
Yeah, and it works both ways. I find some clients, if they've started to, if they've started to go up in size, they tend to wear too much fabric to cover up, but that creates too much volume.
Mhm.
Or the ones who are like, and arms. Can we talk about arms? Like we women at a certain age, we're like, cover the arms, cover the arms, cover the arms. So know thyself. If you
Mhm.
feel confident with your arms, just, sleeveless, cap sleeve. But if you feel like you need a little bit of coverage there, a sheer sleeve goes a long way,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I had someone tell me I need to have Michelle Obama arms to wear short, a guy. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna wear my no sleeves. I was like,
Exactly.
stop.
No, I'd love to say that as first lady, to me, that is the true definition of the right to bear arms. Give women
Yes.
the right to bear our arms no matter what shape they're in.
Right.
When I travel Europe, Italy, Paris, it doesn't matter what the shape the women are in, they wear sleeveless. You're in America,
Mhm.
it's ooh, have
Oh,
to
we
cover
gotta
the
cover,
arms.
gotta cover.
So again, but also check in with yourself. Personal preference, if you feel confident, great, but it's just own what you got, accept it, and work with it.
Yes, and I want to touch on, because we're talking about what are the foundations, so it comes from internally, you have to accept yourself, love yourself, really understand your body and look at it and really appreciate it and love it. And actually, you talked about TEDx. I did my TEDx talk on that, on loving, appreciating and loving your body. And then I want to talk about kind of a touchy subject because it's about undergarments. So as we talk about foundations, so many women wear the wrong undergarments. And it drives me nuts because sometimes I see people in an outfit. I'm like, that could have looked so much better on you if you had the right underwear on. But, I don't want to go up to them and tell them. I mean, there are certain stylists that do go up and do, but I still feel, self-conscious telling somebody that. So let's talk about undergarments for a moment. What are women doing wrong?
Yeah, and it's funny that you said, wanting to point it out to other women. I was actually at an event where there was a bunch of us stylists styling recent graduates so they could get their first jobs. And I had another stylist point out to me that my panty line was showing. And I was like,
Ah,
okay, I'm a personal stylist who's supposed to like know everything and set the tone. And even I was wearing the wrong underwear. And it took someone else like, oh my gosh. So I think, again, as we said, there's no such thing as perfection. This style isn't something to like achieve. But I will say, when we get dressed, we don't want distractions, right? We don't want anything to distract from our presence, our confidence, delivering that TEDx talk from stage, walking onto that first, day on the first job, whatever the scenario is. But I will say, in the 10 years I've been styling, I don't think I've met one woman who has known her correct bra size, unless they've had a professional bra fitting. So public service announcement to everyone tuning into Alicia Corey with
yes.
my TV right now. again, toothache dentist, flat tire auto mechanic, bra fitting, each and every one of you listening, go to a trusted professional bra fitter. I happen to work at Nordstrom.
I heard Nordstrom's is the best.
Columbus Circle. I'll give a shout out to my gal Margalit. She's like one of the best bra fitters there. There's a few amazing places in Manhattan, but just no matter where you're tuning in from, call your local department store, call your local store, find out if they have a professional bra fitter. Because for me, style is three things: self-care, self-expression, and self-confidence. So the self-care, just like we get breast exams every year, we have to keep up with our health. When you have the proper support underneath, the bra that doesn't dig in, doesn't
right up your back,
painful, right up the back, you've got that support and foundation underneath. What you put on top, your jacket, your dresses, your clothing, it creates that confidence underneath, so that, yeah, no one's distracted by your panty lines in a TEDx talk, or no one's distracted that your boobs are pushed up to your chin, unless that's your first
unless that's what you want, right?
If that's your brand and your style, work it. But at the end of the day, it is about creating that confidence, and by knowing your proper bra size and having that comfort underneath, then in the middle of the board meeting, your brain isn't twisted because you're uncomfortable, or in the middle of delivering your TEDx talk, you're not sweating because you're like, who's looking at my panties? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Again, it's not about perfection, but it's just, how can we create that balance and that support and that confidence inside and out, so that nothing distracts from just our aura, our presence, our radiance, and our beauty.
It's like, what's your intention, and what is your vision for how you look, how you want to look? And then it starts with the foundation. And in the few minutes we have left, because this time just flew by, I want to talk. So we talked about foundation. Now I want to talk about accessorizing, because I am not an accessories person at all. I tried to be younger, but I'm allergic to a lot of things on my skin. And I tried to be like, Chanel, and wear all the pearls and all the things. And I thought I was going to be so cool with all the layers of different necklaces. And then I broke out all over my body with these splotches. And I'm like, oh, I can't wear costume jewelry. So how do we accessorize and still look fabulous and not overdo it? Like, how do we not overdo the accessories?
Yeah. So I will say right now, we're kind of living in this era of a little bit more minimal jewelry, or like the stacking and the layering. Like, I love to stack and layer like bracelets, keep the earrings minimal. I have my little second piercing that I splurged and got for my 50th birthday. I was like, my little 80s punk edge there, right? The jewelry. So again, to me, I've actually met some women where I start working with them and they don't wear jewelry for different reasons, or women that are like, what is the point of view for jewelry today? So again, you just check into your personal preference, because we have people like Iris Apfel, who was the maximalist. Talk about thrift shopping. She would just get like $5 singles and bracelets and just load it on, because as a young woman, her mother said to her, honey, you don't have natural looks, so you better embrace style. I'm loosely quoting that. But it's true. So I think it's just tapping into your own personal aesthetic. I had another friend who we discovered her accessory was pops of color, because she didn't wear jewelry for religious reasons. She said, I feel closer to God, because when she's more like not having to put on the diamonds or the jewelry to like represent her values, so to speak. For me, jewelry, gemstones, they also have an aura and an energy. So choose jewelry and gemstones wisely. I have a dear friend, Laura Katz, who's a jewelry designer, and I have clients that'll meet with her one-on-one and like tune into, ooh, am I an amethyst or an emerald or a citron? So jewelry, again, like style and fashion, is here to dabble with, experiment, play with. So tune into yourself. Do you feel more at ease with kind of a minimal balance. And I love your hoops, Alicia. I will say, I feel like, you know, my friend Jennifer Fisher Jewelry, Queen of Hoops, like every woman should own a pair of hoops that just kind of fit their vibe and their style. But hoops aren't for everyone. So again, style is personal preference. But I would say choose jewelry to kind of, you know, just, you know, I see it as ritual in the morning when I get to put on like my gold or my pennant, or it's
And what about mixing metals? Like
I love mixing metals. I actually do that with my wedding band because I wear more gold now than silver. But the wedding band was in the family since 1935, the engagement ring, and it's a white gold. So I love mixing golds with silvers, different gemstones. So to me, jewelry is like, I don't know, ritual. And I feel like it's that moment to gaze at ourselves in the mirror in the morning and just say, ooh, how am I going to celebrate and adorn myself with like jewels today, and use it to like celebrate who you are.
I think that's where you can have a lot of fun too. So if your style is more of a minimalist in how you dress and very classic and sleek lines, then you can play a little bit more with jewelry, or maybe you might have that and still want to be minimalist. I mean, these earrings I got them for my 18th birthday. So they're gold, and they're like my staple. I'm 55 now. So, you know, sometimes you need to get good staple pieces. I think in your wardrobe, you need staple pieces. And also in your jewelry, you need to have some really good quality staple pieces, even if you thrift it.
It's true. And I would say sometimes jewelry is also acquired through, you know, a grandmother or a mother, an aunt, like beautiful, like either like nameplates or pearls handed down and make them modern and unique. I love that you've had your earrings since you were 18, because my I don't know if it's 14 or 18 karat gold little stud was my first one when I first got my ears pierced when I was 13.
Yay.
And it's solid gold, so it lasts the test.
It lasts, right? Yeah, these are solid gold these are gold earrings. So it's been with me forever.
Like costume and thrifting and vintage pins, but there's something to be said about those wardrobe investments, like solid gold jewelry, a real genuine leather handbag, you know, genuine leather shoes, a beautiful
jacket. Yeah.
Kind of like those investment staples, because it's an investment in ourselves and our confidence.
And it will last you a long time. So, and you can mix and match, you can pull it together. Even if you don't feel like, oh, well, I'm not this stylish person, when you have these really staple pieces, these investment pieces, then you can throw on a scarf from a modern scarf with a vintage piece. You know, you can start experimenting and playing with style. That's what it's there for. It's to have fun and find self-expression through. Don't be intimidated by it. Like really start having fun. Same thing with makeup. I say experiment, you know, when you're on your off time, experiment with different looks, experiment with different things. And that's how you're going to know whether you like it or not.
Like, look at you doing your bold red lip today. Right? What is it? Who says the quote, like, put on a lipstick and you can, like, put on a red lip and you can conquer your day?
Conquer your day.
With kind of these pinky corals right now, because
I like the coral.
But I agree with you. Fashion, style, beauty, and makeup. Again, it's not this like perfection, something to achieve. It's just feel into it. Dabble and experiment with style until you're like, ooh, a pop color that energizes you, or ooh, that statement coat, or ooh, those beautiful hoop earrings. Like, find that thing that just lights you up and just like go for it.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Tania, for joining us today. This has been Unleash Your Audacious Confidence, and I'm going to ask you, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if they want to know more.
Thank you, Alicia, so much for having me. I love finding a fellow sister who loves fashion as much as I do. So I'm Tania Sterl, founder of Sterl on Style. I am based in New York City. You can follow me on Instagram at Sterl on Style. I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook, Tania Sterl. My website is Sterl on Style. And if you live or are traveling to New York City, personal shopping services at the Nordstrom flagship are complimentary. So just send me a message through Instagram, and I would look forward to meeting up with you anytime you're in New York City.
All right. So that's it for this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. I'm your host, Alicia Curry, and I want to encourage you to be bold, to be brave, and every day do one thing to step out with audacious confidence, even if it's that go put on some hoop earrings or go find a beautiful scarf, do that one thing so that you can find your own signature style. Until next time, I'll see you on another episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win Win Women TV.